Hey everyone, Gelman here again with another PC Spotlight. This time we have the champ himself, Mr. Matt Reece, admin extraordinaire for Wrestling Cards and Collectibles. How's it going, Matt?
It's going well, Adam. How are you?
Can't complain, man. You know, another sort of couple of weeks gone by, and finally getting to get out a little bit. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Mr. Reece here has quite a PC of his own and was gracious enough to come on and share it with us. So, I guess, the way we usually start all of this out is tell me a little bit about how you got into wrestling cards or wrestling in general. I would say start at the beginning and then kind of what drove you to want to collect what you collect.
Okay. Man, when I was young, we would never get the pay-per-view, but I always watched it every Monday. And we had one of those little satellite boxes, Some people watching this probably don't even know what that is, but like you could take it to channel like 99 or something, and you could hear everything going on, but you could not see, you couldn't see anything. And
Right.
I remember like when I was young, I would be sitting there watching, WrestleMania 13 or whatever, and just, cheering on Bret Hart. Bret Hart has always been my guy ever since I've started watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just sit there and listen to back in my day, we listened to the wrestling matches.
And the scrambled pay-per-view. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to do that too. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that's how it all really started. I fell away for a while. Well, I guess I got up into the DX era. I started liking DX and people like that. And then just after the Monday Night Wars, I kind of fell off, like I'm sure most people did.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah. And then of all people, it was Michael Lucas who introduced me to this room, WCC. And that's just when I kind of rekindled with the love. So
that's cool, man.
Not with Lucas, with wrestling.
Well, let's keep this PG-13 for right now.
That comes later.
Yeah, that we'll discuss that in the late night PC Spotlight. So you get back in. It's funny because I was the exact same way when I was a young kid. Like my brother and I used to watch, and we go to the video store and rent the videos. Like you had to wait 6 months for Coliseum to release the videos out so you could follow along. So but we watched every week. And I remember like the last event that we went to was actually SummerSlam in Minnesota with Jesse Ventura, and that was like and after that it kind of like one Stone Cold lost and Mankind won. Like we kind of like were like, all right, well he's never gonna be champ again. So we're just like, and we just did not understand. So I fell off too, but my son got me back into it. So I'm right there with you. Michael Lucas is not my son, but
but he could be.
He could be. He's a son to everybody. So tell me about your PC then. So I know you have become kind of world famous around the group just for what you collect. Walk me through a little bit about how you came to appreciate Natalya and everything that she represents. And I'm sure you have some Bret Hart items as well, but curious to hear your story here.
Yeah, it all started with Bret, actually. When I came on, I started breaking. I broke 2018 Undisputed. At the time, I wasn't in cards. I had no interest in them. I was like, I'm going to throw them in a box, no big deal, whatever. But I was just a memorabilia guy. And then I was living in a one-bedroom apartment, actually, until recently. But everything just started packing up, accumulating, and I just had too much crap. Like I looked around, I was like, "Whoa, okay, I'm gonna have to scale it back." And then, I was like, "Oh, cards are a good option." So it just made sense for me to transition from Bret Hart to Natalya once it all got rolling. And so I've been hardcore collecting Natalya since 2018. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm in the same boat, but I've always found it interesting because I collect sports cards before this. Excuse me. And like sports cards it's much more about just accumulation of, a team or a type of card or whatever. But with WWE collectors, it's almost exclusively I collect this person or this person, and everything else is just a means to get more of that other person.
Right, exactly. Or, if you get into a random break or something like that and I hit I don't know, Jesse Ventura just out of saying.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, okay, well, now I can trade it off and get my Natalia if I want. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And people start to recognize you as that person, whether you want to be or not. I've seen some people
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why I wasn't planning on PCing this person, but then everybody started tagging me and I just felt like I had to.
Absolutely.
So, so you have your Natalia collection. I know you've accumulated some awesome pieces. Is it just cards or is it, a whole bunch of different stuff that you've been able to get?
Well, in regard to Natalia, it's mostly all cards. I have a couple Schomburgers, stuff like that, and
Sure.
I actually have a giant poster that I haven't gotten signed yet, but I do. Hopefully, one day I'll get to meet her and I get her to sign it,
That's awesome.
or go to a vendor or something. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's mostly cards. As you can see, my Brett helmet back behind me,
Yeah, that's
um,
cool.
and who knows? Maybe if I ever do meet her, I'll do one of those for her as well.
Yeah.
So, because I
Do you
actually
have do
collect.
you have a Calgary Hitmen jersey?
Um, no, I don't think so. Not yet. But I've got jerseys packed up in the tub in here.
Right.
Oh man, I've got because I do collect sports jerseys too, and
Oh, okay.
I
I
just
gotcha. I
yeah,
gotcha.
and it's piled up with jerseys. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's hard to like because WWE has been like a complete master of licensing literally everything from toothbrushes to kid potties for your little toddler who's learning to go to the bathroom. Right? It's
yeah,
crazy how much stuff is out there, and you see that they just had this show on A&E that started up the most valuable treasures or whatever, where you go to these people's houses and they've got like rooms packed to the brim.
oh, I
My
believe
wife
it.
my wife is like, you get this little tiny space, and anything about above and beyond this is being thrown away.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fun fact, Adam. Actually, when I moved into this house, I created a memorabilia closet, which
Mm,
is inside my game room. And that's kind of where I have everything stashed for now until I can
for
find a
now.
place to get it out to the wall. But yeah, so everything I've
So
got is pretty much jammed in there.
that's that's about the same for me. I've always wanted to get one of the WWE pinball machines, like, and put
Oh
it in
yeah,
put it in the movie room downstairs where the kids play. Like, I
yeah.
think that would be so cool, but I've never been able to find one at a reasonable price that's worth picking up and shipping to Minnesota, or going to drive and actually get it. Um, so your experience in the group? I mean, it seems like you were kind of brought into this. Tell me a little bit about kind of your experience with just the different collectors in the group. Like, what's sort of driven your relationships around WCC?
I mean, for the most part, everybody's been pretty cool. At least, I guess it's easy for me to say that because there's only like three people that collect Natalia.
Right. Not much
But
competition as much.
right. But then there's, like if I was collecting Alexa Bliss or somebody like that, I might not say good things about,
A lot of people,
because
right?
it can get kind of nasty at times. But usually, for the most part, people are sending me messages, they're contacting me. Almost always, somebody in the group sees the Natalia 101 before I even have a chance to open my phone,
Yeah,
and
I've noticed that. There's people on
yeah,
eBay all the time,
yeah.
on auctions and everything. Yeah.
It's not even just eBay; it's in the rooms. Like John P hit one the other day, and I had three people send me a screenshot that night, and I woke up and was like, "What? Where did this come from?" So yeah,
Cool, man. I love that. There's and like, as long as it's not something crazy competitive, like, most people will identify you as the person to reach out to, and people get really helpful in a lot of ways. I actually just sent some cards over to someone because they'd helped me out so much with all the Becky stuff that gets posted. So I try and keep it at least to the point where I'm paying them back a little bit for all the times that they're spending on eBay, so that I don't have to.
yeah, no joke.
So tell me, so let's see, let's hear about some of the top collection pieces. I'm eager to see. I've seen a lot of them posted. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm excited to hear the stories behind them and kind of what they mean to you as a collector. But curious to see which ones you picked to showcase, because there's probably a ton.
Yeah, it was tough, and there's some that you're not going to see that you're like, why did you bring that up? But it is what it is. The first one I wanted to show is a plate that I got from somebody in the group. I don't know if you can see it real well.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
There you go. 2012 Topps WWE. It was the insert, the
Wow.
Diva Class of 2012 or whatever. So I actually got this from a guy in the group, Stephen B. Um, leave it at that. But Yeah, he said he just had it tucked in his drawer somewhere,
Wow.
and he was like, "Hey, anybody know anybody that collects Natalia?" And of course,
Yep.
I
There
got a
you
few
go.
tags, right? And there were a few people trying to get it, but at the end, he chose my trade lot that I had for him. So
Is that considered a rookie? I don't know how far back she goes in WWE cards.
she actually goes back to 2008.
Oh wow. So she
Yeah.
was in the sets for a while then.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I know that because of the trading card database,
Yeah.
and I'm
We
so
all use it.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I'm so hard. Every single card I have of Natalia is on that database. I spent the entire quarantine
Yeah, it's a
importing
good
everything.
project, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I wish more people would do that. I've put some stuff up on that site, but it like I haven't been as diligent as I should be, especially like some of the 101s that I know will never get scanned unless I scan them in there. So
exactly. Yeah, and it's extremely time consuming to do all that, but sometimes it's therapeutic just to sit and scan and
yeah,
jam
and
out some music.
and back then, 2012, those printing plates weren't as easy to get maybe as they are now.
No, no, not at all. But the other one, or well, another one rather, is one that I had to actually track down.
Oh, nice! Wow,
Yeah, 2015, Undisputed 101.
back when they were
Um,
gold.
yeah, yeah. The fun fact about this one was it sold in the middle of the night for freaking pennies, right?
I remember you saying about
Mhm.
talking about
Oh
this one,
man,
and you
man.
had to like go and like hunt this guy down.
Yeah, and I did. I found him, and I pretty much offered to double his money. I think he paid
I've
a
done
hundred
that
bucks.
too.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I want that card." So, um,
And that's a
sometimes it,
highly competitive set because I know like there's 4 or 5 people that just collect everything that they can from Undisputed,
yeah,
especially from the earlier years like 15 to 17. So to
mhm.
be able to track down that 101, especially when it sells like when you're sleeping, that's the most aggravating feeling I think being a super collector.
Yes, it is. Um, the next one, it's actually a really, really cool story. I'm going to show it first.
Oh, nice! Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty
um,
cool.
this was her second red card. Um, this was from I think 2010.
Yeah, it might even be 2009.
No, it was 2010. The story behind this one is I didn't even know this card existed. A guy in the group. Now I'm not going to say his name because he is gone. He man, I don't know what happened
Yes,
to him. Honestly, he
yeah.
deleted his Facebook and just disappeared into the wind.
Wow.
Anyway, this man sent me this card for Christmas just for the heck of it. You're an Natalia collector. It belongs with you. And I was like, I didn't freeze. That was my real reaction. No, I mean, it
That's
was,
amazing.
I was blown away at somebody like doing that because I would have given him, I don't know, some money for that.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm not going to say a number because I don't want nobody to know my price range.
Right. Well, no, see, the funny thing is, so that top set is arguably, I think, one of my favorite top space designs because that was so that for football, I know because that was a football design and a baseball design that really resonated with a lot of people. And I think it was one of the first that they started making sort of more parallels in where the sets were expanding. I wasn't collecting WWE at that time, but I was collecting baseball and football. And I absolutely love that design. I have so many cards from like the Twins and the Vikings and stuff like that from that design. I love that set.
Yeah, it's pretty sharp. It reminds me of the card. Actually, I think it was the same year she was on an ECW card, and
What?
I should have pulled that one too. I mean, it's the
That's
coolest thing.
interesting. I didn't know that she
Yeah,
had ECW. Was
yeah,
she even
yeah.
in ECW
I don't know,
back when they were
but
on Sci-Fi or whatever it was?
must have been when they were crossing over and doing all that weird stuff. But yeah, I'll have to PM you that card later. But
Yeah,
uh,
I gotta see that because I didn't even know she spent time in there, let alone made a trading card set commemorating
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's pretty wild. I didn't know about it until I was just on the database. I was like, oh, what? So the next person I want to talk about is my friend Jose.
Nice.
Tell a story about Jose here. Jose told me that if I didn't buy this card, then somebody would, and I would never see it again. So, with that being said, I had to buy said card. It is the
That's legit.
Superfractor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit, and he would have it too because he's
Well, right. So I was like, and I'm gonna have to buy it, So
was that 101 back then? Because some of them were out of 25. I don't know.
oh no, yeah, this is the Superfractor 101.
Nice, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I,
and
I I wish they would have done something like that when they re-released Chrome this year, but man, those are cool cards.
yeah, I love these, but I own this card because Jose told me to buy it.
Yes, and he probably was correct in telling you that.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe that it would have been gone in the morning. I mean, I feel like I overpaid a little bit. It was more than I really wanted to pay at the time, but again, I wouldn't go back and change that.
Yeah, but I mean, like you're not gonna like spending the extra $50 to $100 to get the card that you want that will be in your collection and a centerpiece forever. Is it like you look back on, you're like, oh, why was I even hemming and hawing about this? Like I should have just having that to show off is worth the extra money, even if you overpaid a little bit, because it's just never going to come up again.
Yeah, absolutely. But staying with Jose, I also own this card because of Jose.
Nice.
Yeah. Jose and I, we made a trade, and he ended up making my month that month.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked to end up with that one as well. So I've got the 15 and the 17. Haven't seen the 16. I think I might know.
There's probably a good chance of a certain individual having that card, but the 2017 is probably the most popular undisputed set among the premium collectors in the group, and to have the one that they probably would have enjoyed to have for their collection has got to feel good at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do like the way it looks as well. I mean, it's probably one of the nicer ones in my opinion, but we'll see.
It's a good picture too. I like there's this evolution of her. It's like the original, like I'm the Canadian heart, then it's like I'm fighter Natalia, and then it's kitty cat Natalia. So I think I like that render that they used for that photo, because I think some of the ones they used in 2017 were a little questionable in terms of how good they looked, but that one turned out really good. And like the Brock Lesnar one I've seen too, it's a really good picture, but I gravitate towards cards with awesome photos on it. And I think that one is probably one of the better ones, because now it's like, well, we got to put her in the cat ears for every single picture. So
yeah, well, except the finest Superfractor, it's got to be my least favorite picture of her of all time. And then I almost didn't buy the Super because of it, and then I was like, it's a Super, I gotta have
I've been
it,
there.
right?
I've been there for sure. Yeah, the finest ones can get a little goofy because they crop those photos so closely. It's just weird sometimes with the base cards, but the autographs look pretty good. I think it just depends on which render they use for your wrestler.
Yeah, true. The next one is a card that I traded to or got from Jason K. So I'm gonna try not to use last names. It's a habit, but he knew I really wanted this card. I lost it. I tried to get it from somebody in the group. I didn't get it, but whatever. And then we made a trade for it.
I have it right here. We have the same card. Yeah.
Well, they have two different variants of this.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. There's, I believe Becky's on top, and Natalia's on bottom in the second card.
I have Becky on the bottom. Okay. So yeah, I have the same one.
Yeah, this is 2016 Topps WWE, and then I can't remember the other set, but
it's like number to 11, isn't it? Some weird number. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy, but yeah, that's compliments of Jason. He knew I would want it, and
I didn't know that there were multiple variations of it. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's two, and I'll have to look that up too. But
I don't have the other one. I just have that one. It's the same one you have. So I didn't even know that there was one where Becky was on top.
And I think it's 2016 as well. It's like the weirdest thing. They did it the same year and everything else, but
yeah, I like that card too, and I think that for the most part, the triple autographs that they do are pretty good. Like there's very few that don't look very good. I like when they do, like the ones for finest, I thought were really cool, where they did the double on top of each other. That was the first time I'd seen a horizontal version of it. But this set, I think it was the first multi-signed card that I owned. So that was from a WWE perspective. So that's a cool one.
Yeah, I love those, and I'm thankful to have it. And if Jason's watching, thank you, sir. I'm gonna pull this one back over here because I've just shown too much red and weirdness, but I have to show this one.
Oh, nice.
It's also from Undisputed, but when it went on,
Look at that patch. That's awesome.
exactly. When it went on eBay, I saw it and I was like, oh man, I love that.
That's so
And
cool.
and it disappeared. Somebody bought it, right? And hey, magically it popped up in the room.
It always happens that way.
Yeah. And Drew had it, and we were trying to make a deal. I just couldn't do it at the time, whatever. And then Beth actually got it for me for Christmas one year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I ended up with it.
Yeah,
I like that one as well.
I think of all of the people that are part of these sets, she always has. She chooses the craziest shirts to give them, or something, or the patterns are just weird because Topps always manages to cut out the patches that look like that, where it's like a face or a cat, as you probably will show here in a minute. But like I always like seeing that.
That was actually my last one.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Actually, yeah, you did. Okay. I was going to say, hey, it's time for a false finish.
Right,
we had a false finish, but yes, I have to show. Or Josh.
That's the best. It's the best one that's out there.
Or Josh would be mad at me if I didn't.
I would be disappointed too. I would have made you go get it because it's worth showing more than any other, just because of that patch. It's so ridiculous.
And I know Josh is sitting there watching, going, "Where's the kitty? Where's the kitty?"
It's gotta be that one because it just turned out too perfectly.
Yeah. I believe the relic from that set has the same exact patch.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a certain individual that can confirm that, but I haven't asked because. But
he never shows his stuff, right?
Right, and I'm pretty certain that it does. So.
I wonder. I've always wondered what shirt they chose for that. Like how they got that.
Actually, I think I tracked it down and I found the shirt, and it's the weirdest thing. I think it has a giant cat head with little cats around it. I don't know, but yeah, it was kind of bizarre looking.
Any other ones to share? I know you said you had one that was kind of like led you to the whole collection and that you wanted to share.
Oh no, that story was actually about the helmet. Because what it was I only collected Bret Hart until that point, and the time came where I was able to meet Bret, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? I can get all these pictures and all this other crap. So what can you do? And because I collect helmets, that's when I decided to put that together. And of course he geeked out over it because that's
really cool. I don't know how you made that. It turned out awesome.
It actually has the you see the shield on the front.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it says Hitman up top.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he inscribed it like in depth and stuff. But anyway,
and you got the Hall of Fame sticker on there. That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little touch. But we after I met him and I got that, I was like, well, that's about as far as I can't go any farther, in my opinion. So that's when I started just going full blast on Natalia.
Yeah, it's interesting because you never when you get to a point where you're like, okay, I have something that's going to be the centerpiece of my collection, and it's something that I could never really replace or get higher than. What do you do then? You try and create new goals for yourself or find a new person to collect. That's an interesting sort of situation to be in because you're like, well, I have this personalized football helmet that's going to be the coolest thing I own. So why bother with the rest of it? But I hear you.
Yeah. And it's just like my Hall of, the good thing about this is it stemmed all the Hall of Fame helmets too. And I love those. In fact, I had a guy come in today, a contractor, and he was just looking at all the helmets like, whoa, man, that's cool.
That's why you have the stuff. That's why you display the stuff.
Right. So
you want the cable guy's jaw to drop every time.
Right. So, but yeah, it's been fun, and I'm just thankful we're getting back to being able to go to conventions and concerts.
Yeah, thankfully, seriously,
and be able to do all that now. So.
Yeah, and she's got a tag title match tonight, so we'll see if we're filming this on Friday, so we'll see how she does on that. I think this is the time to put the belts on her, so we'll see what happens with that. Best of luck.
I hope so. Then again, her prices will all go up, so then no. But yeah, I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say she gets one of these runs at least once a year, so you're probably just I'll just sit this couple of months out until she's down going back to where she was before.
Yeah, exactly. And I do believe they'll put the titles on her one more time before she retires.
They have to. I think they have to.
I feel like it's coming soon because she's got a birthday either just happened or coming up, and she's going to be 39. So I feel like she'll be retiring not too long. So
yeah, I think. Well, I mean, like you look at I think the longevity of careers, like you look at Asuka, who is already like 41 or 42, and she's still going strong. I mean, there's a lot of reason to believe that, depending on the luck of injury and all the other fun stuff that goes along with being a professional wrestler, like, she could potentially wrestle for a very long time. And I know she's kind of become a mentor to a lot of the women in the locker room from what we've seen on Total Divas. My wife loves that show, and I've
never watched it.
No, me either. Never. No, but yeah, I think she's my wife's favorite. Like from that show, she loves watching Natalia interact with everybody because she's kind of become the mom of the group. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell if that's just production doing that or if she's actually like that.
She's probably like that.
Have you ever met her before?
I haven't, not yet.
Yeah.
And on that note, Edmund says, "I have 3 times."
Yeah, Edmund will then post all the pictures of him with her, all signed and inscribed to him. Yes, for sure.
It's coming. But yeah, no, I haven't. And if she's watching, I'd love to meet her. It's just the chance has not come up yet. So,
well, I think Charles Robinson is a member in the group, so maybe he'll pass along a message.
Hey, hey, my mayor's the friggin' Kane. So I mean.
Right, exactly. Go down to his office and film a video with him. Maybe we need to get him on his collection from what we've seen on that A&E show.
Right. Actually, fun fact, she did come to town. I forgot about this. Beth Phoenix, Natalia, and Edge all came to town and just got some reps in over at Dr. Tom's gym in Knoxville.
Right,
so, yeah. And I didn't realize, of course, they're not going to post pictures till after the fact, but I was like, no, she's right.
It could have been my chance.
Right up the street. So, yeah, it was heartbreaking, but.
That's too bad. Well, you'll get there one day. I don't know. As we get back to going out and seeing and getting events in person, maybe that's where WrestleMania Access or something. You go to a WrestleMania or something. I've always wanted to go, so I feel like we're overdue for a group trip to meet up at a WrestleMania sometime. So
yeah, for sure. I was going to go to Tampa. I had the time off and everything, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, so. It always works out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have family that live in Florida, so I was like, I'm gonna go. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be awesome. And then nope.
Nope.
Well, Matt, I appreciate you hopping on, and thanks for sharing your collection. I know that you're one of the people that is more share friendly on the group, so we've come to appreciate all the amazing stuff that you have. But I know with some new sets coming out and stuff, that hopefully you'll be able to add to it. Thank you for taking the time to share. It's always great to hear the stories. And then, don't forget to check in every Monday. We'll continue to post PC spotlights as long as people want to share. So hopefully more people will get on video. It's been awesome to have the last few people want to share this way. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. And see you later.
See you.